Hello everyone, this is the fourth lecture on study of compounds, and in this lecture we are going to discuss physical and chemical properties of ammonia. As you know, in previous lecture we have discussed the preparation of ammonia in laboratory or in industries. So let's start with physical properties. So first is color. So you know that ammonia is a colorless gas. It is odorless gas. If we talk about taste, so it has slightly alkaline taste. If we talk about its physiological nature, so ammonia is a non-toxic gas, but when it is inhaled in excess, it may be fatal and it may bring tears in eyes on inhalation. Now, the next is density of ammonia. So ammonia has less density as compared to that of air. So the density of ammonia is less than that of air. It means ammonia is lighter than that of air. That's why we collect the ammonia by downwards displacement of air. Now the next is solubility. So like HCl gas, hydrogen chloride gas, ammonia is also highly soluble in water. So to demonstrate that, we have fountain experiment. We have already discussed the fountain experiment for HCl. So similar to that of HCl, there is fountain experiment for ammonia gas. So let's see what is there. There is a round bottom flask which has two openings, one for a jet tube and other for a dropper. So dropper contains some water in it. Now the next is ammonia gas is filled in this round bottom flask and red litmus solution is kept below the arrangement. Now the jet tube is immersed in this red litmus solution. So when this dropper is squeezed, the water of the dropper moves to the round bottom flask, and as a result of which it absorbs the ammonia gas and partial vacuum is created in the flask. So after that, you know what happens? After that, when the partial vacuum is created, the red litmus solution will sucked up in the jet tube and you will observe a blue fountain, not a red fountain but a blue fountain. Why? Because ammonia is basic in nature. So from fountain experiment we have found two things. One is ammonia is highly soluble in water. Because ammonia is highly soluble in water, that's why the jet tube sucks the red litmus solution. Now the second thing is the red litmus solution turns blue. It means ammonia is basic in nature. So from the fountain experiment we know about the two properties of ammonia, about its basic nature and high solubility in water. Now let's move to the next topic, that is chemical properties of ammonia. So let's see. First is stability. So ammonia is quite stable, but on electric spark ammonia will decompose to its component, that is nitrogen and hydrogen. So generally ammonia is quite stable, but because of electric spark it may decompose to nitrogen and hydrogen. The next is combustion. So ammonia burns to form nitrogen and water. So it burns with a greenish yellow flame. The next is oxidation. So oxidation of ammonia can be done with the help of cupric oxide. So copper 2 oxide will react with ammonia, it will form copper and ammonia. There is oxidation of ammonia and it will give nitrogen and water. The next is catalytic oxidation. So in catalytic oxidation we use platinum as catalyst. So catalytic oxidation takes place by heating ammonia with oxygen at about 800 degrees Celsius. So it will form nitric oxide along with water. So in catalytic oxidation you can see these two are different reactions. So in combustion, when it is burned, so in combustion it will form nitrogen, but on catalytic oxidation in the presence of platinum it will form nitric oxide. So don't get confused with these two reactions. The next is basic nature. We have already discussed that ammonia is basic in nature. So if we talk about its basic nature, ammonia combines with water to form ammonium hydroxide. So what is the name of NH4OH? It is ammonium hydroxide, or ammonium hydroxide may decompose into ammonium and hydroxide ion. So it will form ammonium and hydroxide ion. If you will combine these two reactions, so NH4OH, NH4OH can be cancelled out both the sides, so it will give NH3 plus H2O. So NH3 plus H2O will form ammonium ion and OH minus ion. So ammonia and water will give ammonium and hydroxyl ion. So because it will give hydroxyl ion, therefore it is a weak base. So ammonia is weakly basic in nature. Now if we talk about the reaction with acids, so it will react with acids to form salts. One more thing, ammonia gas, dry ammonia gas or liquefied ammonia gas does not change the color of litmus because it does not contain water vapor. So if we talk about the dry litmus, it will have no effect on dry litmus, but on moist litmus it will turn red, moist litmus blue. Now if we talk about the reaction with acids, so it will form salt. For example, ammonia with hydrochloric acid, it will form ammonium chloride. Ammonia with sulfuric acid, it will form ammonium sulfate. Ammonia with nitric acid, it will form ammonium nitrate. Ammonium hydroxide, that is the aqueous solution of ammonia. So ammonium hydroxide with HCl will form ammonium chloride and water. With H2SO4, it will form ammonium sulfate and water, and with HNO3, that is nitric acid, it will form ammonium nitrate and water. So the same reactions will take place with ammonia and with ammonium hydroxide for different acids. Only difference is water. Water is also formed during the aqueous ammonia. Next is reaction of aqueous ammonia with some metal salts. So you can see with ferric chloride, ammonium hydroxide, because it is aqueous ammonia, it will form a reddish brown precipitate of ferric hydroxide. Similarly, aluminum chloride will react with ammonium hydroxide and will form aluminum hydroxide, which will form a white color precipitate. Now these two white color precipitate are insoluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide. Now if we talk about copper sulfate, so copper sulfate with ammonium hydroxide will form a pale blue precipitate. Now this is copper hydroxide which forms a pale blue precipitate, and this pale blue precipitate is soluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide. So in excess of ammonium hydroxide it will form CuNH3 4SO4, that is tetraamine copper sulfate, and this tetraamine copper sulfate has a deep blue color, but it is soluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide because it is soluble substance. Now the next is zinc sulfate. So zinc sulfate will form a gelatinous white precipitate of zinc hydroxide with ammonium hydroxide, and this zinc hydroxide is also soluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide. So in excess of ammonium hydroxide, you can see the reaction here, it will form tetraamine zinc sulfate, that is ZnNH3 4SO4. So it is tetraamine zinc sulfate. The next is AgCl plus NH4OH, that is silver chloride. So silver chloride has a white color, but when it is combined with NH4OH on reaction with NH4OH, it will form diamine silver chloride, and this diamine silver chloride is a soluble substance which is soluble in water. So these reactions are also there in analytical chemistry. So we have already discussed these reactions in analytical chemistry. The next is reaction of ammonia with chlorine. This is quite important reaction because there are two different kind of reaction. It depends on the concentration. If ammonia is in excess, see, if ammonia is in excess, so ammonia will react with chlorine and it will form nitrogen and HCl. HCl will further react with ammonia and it will form ammonium chloride. So if you will combine these two reactions, 2NH3 plus 3Cl2 will form N2 plus HCl, and NH3 plus 6HCl will form 6NH4Cl. So HCl cancelled from both the sides. So the overall reaction, that is 2NH3 plus 6NH3, that is 8NH3 plus 3Cl2 will give N2 plus 6NH4Cl. So this is the overall reaction when ammonia is in excess. But when ammonia is not in excess, when chlorine is in excess, so if the chlorine is present in higher quantity as compared to ammonia, then different reaction will take place. So it will form HCl, that is hydrochloric acid plus NCl3, nitrogen trichloride. So these two compounds are formed in excess of chlorine. Now, and in excess of ammonia, it will form nitrogen and ammonium chloride. So you have to remember these two reactions. It depends on the concentration of ammonia and chlorine. The next topic is tests for ammonia. So we can do three different tests for ammonia. So the first test is by using concentrated HCl, concentrated hydrochloric acid. So ammonia reacts with concentrated hydrochloric acid, forming dense white fumes of ammonium chloride. So this reaction is also useful for the detection of HCl gas. So similarly, it can also be used for ammonia gas. So ammonia will form dense white fumes with ammonium chloride. So when a glass rod dipped in concentrated HCl is brought near ammonia gas, it will give dense white fumes of ammonium chloride. Now the next test is this. Because we know that copper hydroxide forms pale blue precipitate with ammonium hydroxide. On further reaction, means reaction with excess of ammonium hydroxide, it will form tetraamine copper sulfate, which is a deep blue substance, deep blue solution. Now you can see here, so the copper sulfate with ammonium hydroxide will form pale blue precipitate, and this pale blue precipitate further reacts with excess of ammonium hydroxide, forming NH3-4SO4, that is tetraamine copper sulfate, and this is a deep blue colored solution. So if copper sulfate reacts with ammonia, it will first form a pale blue precipitate, which on passing further ammonia will form a deep blue solution. So if it happens, then it means there is ammonia present in the gas. Now the next test is for Nessler's reagent. So Nessler's reagent can be used. So generally Nessler's reagent is colorless. So when Nessler's reagent react with KOH and ammonia, that is potassium hydroxide and ammonia, so it is alkaline Nessler's reagent. So it will form a deep brown precipitate of NH2HgOHgi. So it will form potassium iodide and water, but it will give a deep brown precipitate. So if Nessler's reagent reacts with ammonia and KOH, it will form a deep brown precipitate. So you have to remember these reactions for detection of ammonia. So these are the tests for ammonia. The next is uses of ammonia. So it can be used for the manufacture of nitric acid in Ostwald's process. Then it is also used for the manufacture of sodium bicarbonate by Solvay process. Then it is also used in manufacture of many nitrogenous fertilizers like urea, ammonium sulfate, diammonium hydrogen phosphate, etc. Then it is also used for explosives like ammonium nitrate. It is also used in manufacture of nylons, rayons, dyes, drugs, plastics, resins, etc. It is used in manufacture of ammonium carbonate. It is also used to remove the stain of grease from cloths because it dissolves fat and grease. Liquid ammonia is used as a refrigerant. Aqueous ammonia is also used in laboratory for qualitative analysis. So this is all in this lecture. If you have any queries, you can ask your questions in comment section. Thank you very much.